Hi, my name's Samantha Taylor. I'm a jewellery making teacher, and today we're going to make a basic bag charm, a beaded bag charm. There's a couple of different examples here, and it's using some chain and a clip, some beads, some head pins and some jump rings. First of all, I've mentioned that I put it on a mat so that my beads don't fly off everywhere. And I've got some tools here. I'll quickly go through the tools. We've just got the yellow handled ones, as I call them to my class. We've got a wire cutter and a bent nose pliers. And I've also got round nose pliers. So this type of jewellery making, it doesn't really use an awful lot of equipment. It's something that you can do at home, or you can take it away and do it on holiday. These are usually, you can buy these from tool shops for £1 or £2. You can't always buy the round nose pliers from tool shops. Sometimes you can, sometimes they have special offers and you might be able to find them. But generally it's more specialist craft shops. So you've got beads. Now your beads you can buy at specialist bead shops, craft shops. You can recycle old jewellery, so you may have some jewellery at home that you're not wearing, but you want to keep it because it's sentimental. So you could recycle it, make it into a new piece, give it a new lease of life, and use the beads from that. You've probably got relations and friends, and they've got old jewellery, so you don't have to necessarily buy the beads. You can get the beads, and you can say, I'll make you something with them. So you could do a trade. The rest of the components, you tend to buy those from more specialist shops. So it's either off the internet, craft shops, bead fairs, or from the internet. And this is a chain and a bag clip, jump rings and head pins. Now there is a safety when you're actually making your bead segments. So the bead segments are what I attach to the chain. When you're making your bead segments, I'll just use that one, and you put them on the head pin. Now you've got a stopper, so it's like a wire with a stopper, so it stops the beads coming off. You're bending it over the bead, so I've got it's bent over. So I'm going to cut it off at about 1 centimetre. So there is a measurement. You can use a ruler just to measure to guess it. Now, the health and safety, when you're cutting the wire, if I cut the wire and it's pointing towards my eyes, then it's going to ping in that direction, so it could be dangerous. You could wear safety goggles or glasses, but as long as you point your end of the wire that's going to be cut off towards the floor and underneath the table that you're working at, it's fine. So I'll just do that now. So it's pinged towards the floor. So I've got my bead. I've bent it over, and then I'm going to make the loop. So I'm just holding on to it so that it doesn't move around too much. I go to the end of, I go to the end of the wire using the round nose pliers. So the round nose pliers makes the loop. I go to the end, and start turning it towards me. Now I can't turn the hand anymore, so I've got to turn the hand over, palm upwards. And then I do it a bit at a time until I've got a loop. And it's more like a lollipop type of loop. It doesn't matter if it doesn't exactly look like a lollipop, and if it looks more like a pin top rather than a lollipop or a needle top. The main thing is that it's closed, is that you close off your loop so that there isn't a gap. If you've got a gap, it can come off your piece of jewellery. So you're adding your bead to your head pin, you're bending it over the bead, you're cutting with your wire pointing downwards at 1 centimetre underneath the table, and then you're bringing it towards you, turning your hand over and continuing with your loop. Now because I do it in a few movements, it means I can make the loop bigger or smaller. So if I've got a lot of wire left over, I can make a bigger loop. The smaller your segments, the fiddlier it is. So if you start off and you're working with bigger beads, it's easier to do. I'm going to break open the chain. So if I've got a thick chain, I won't cut it. I use my 2 pliers. If I've got a big chain, you've got to break it open with your pliers. You can't cut it, otherwise you damage your cutters. You're using 2 tools and both hands. You're holding on to a link of the chain with the opening at the top, and you bring it towards you, and that opens up the link. And then we could use that in another project. I'm going to add my top section to the bag clip. So again, it's the same action, getting hold of both sides of it and opening it up, attaching it to the bag clip, and bringing it back together, and it's worked. You could also use a large jump ring to attach it. I don't have any in this colour though. Now it's going to go longer because when I add my bottom bead, it's going to make the length of the bag chain longer. But you can make it longer, so if you want a really long one, you can keep it a bigger section of chain. Now to add the beads, I'm going to use jump rings. So the jump rings are just a circle, and they've got an opening in them, and it's the same movement as I used to open the chain. So I made some earlier. I've got quite a few sections. Now I'm going to add it randomly. You could add it with a pattern, but for this I'm just going to add it randomly and see how it develops. So I've opened up my jump ring with the opening at the top. I'm adding my bottom of the chain and a bead segment, and I'm telling my left hand to squeeze so that I don't drop the jump ring. And I get the other tool and I close the jump ring. And then it's a matter of repeating this action. Okay, so we've finished, we've done the bag charm, but you can continue. It's very similar, it's the same techniques if you're wanting to make a necklace or a bracelet. You could use a bracelet that you've already got or a necklace and just add the dangles. You can make earrings or pendants, mobile phone charms. There's further designs than this. You can either teach yourself from a book or magazine or resources using the internet, or it's maybe better to come on a course because you get the tips and techniques and the guidance. So if you're struggling with anything, you've got the tutor coming round and helping you. I teach classes here at Lancashire Adult Learning in Chorley, and I run my own classes at Cedar Farm. If you go on either of the websites, www.bbd.co.uk or www.lancashirecollege.com, you can find out more about all the courses.